You are the mind and soul of the universe, but you have forgotten. So whispers a voice from the corpus hermeticum, a voice that may not come from outside you, but from within, an echo from the depths of your own being. This is the call of Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, keeper of divine knowledge, the one the Greeks later called Hermes Trismegistus. It is said he inscribed the secrets of the universe in sacred tablets of emerald and breath, encoded not merely in words but in vibration, teachings not read but remembered. Among seekers, there's a legend, 35 teachings lost not in history but in consciousness. They are not found in dusty tomes, but in symbolic layers of Hermetic tradition teachings that, when unlocked, realign us with the very fabric of reality. They are not commandments to obey, but keys to awaken what you already are. Think of them as waypoints on an inward journey, one that begins in forgetting and culminates in divine remembrance. What follows is not a lecture, but a path. A spiral ascent in 5 stages each, revealing 7 insights. Together, these 30 teachings offer not answers but alignment, not dogma but direction. Let us begin. The first stage begins with a rupture, a breaking of the spell of illusion. For millennia, we've been conditioned to see the world as external, fixed material. But the first of the lost teachings reminds us reality is mind, not matter. This is the principle of mentalism, the cornerstone of Hermeticism. The universe is not a machine but a thought. And you, yes, you are both the thinker and the thought. The second teaching builds upon this revelation. The outer world reflects the inner world. As within, so without. As above, so below. The world does not merely happen to you, it emerges through you. Your beliefs, your emotions, your attention, your shadows, they all bend the mirror of your experience. What you suppress within will find expression without. And if thought shapes form, then the third teaching follows naturally. What you vibrate, you create. Every feeling, every belief, every intention is a frequency. You are not a passive receiver of reality, but a broadcaster. The universe responds not to your words, but to your energetic state. A worried mind begets chaos. A grateful heart magnetizes abundance. We do not attract what we want, we attract what we are. These teachings are not metaphors. They are instructions. They invite you to test them, to shift your thoughts, and observe the ripple. And here we enter the 4th through 7th teachings, those that illuminate the terrain of the ego, the dream, emotion, and perception. The ego whispers, you are separate. You are alone. But the dream world, both in sleep and waking life, reveals that reality is more fluid than we admit. Emotions, far from being flaws, are compasses of vibration. Perception, once questioned, becomes pliable. Consider this: when you're anxious, doesn't the world seem to tense around you? When you expect failure, how often do you subtly prepare its stage? You're not a victim, you're a conductor. Begin noticing what station your mind is tuned to, and you'll begin to understand what you've been calling into form. As the illusions begin to crack and the inner eye opens, we arrive at the second stage, the mastery of duality. This is not a battle between good and evil, light and dark, but a recognition that all opposites are two ends of the same essence. The eighth teaching reveals there is no absolute good or evil, only polarity. The Hermetic principle of polarity teaches that hot and cold are not different things, but degrees of the same phenomenon. So too are love and hate courage, and fear light and shadow. To judge one pole as superior is to misunderstand the dance of creation. The ninth teaching urges us further. What is low can be raised if transmutation is understood. This is the ancient art of alchemy, not of metals, but of the soul. Anger can become righteous action. Desire can become devotion. Pain can become wisdom. Nothing in you is wasted, only waiting to be transformed. From the 10th to the 14th teachings, we explore the sacred pairs within us. Tension and release sorrow and joy, weakness and strength. These opposites are not enemies. They are teachers. When you fear your anger, it owns you. When you embrace it consciously, it loses control and becomes fuel. The same applies to jealousy, shame, grief. All are sacred. All are material for refinement. And then comes the 15th teaching the art of integration. To hold both poles without collapse. This is the mastery of the awakened. The awakened one does not reject darkness, nor does she lose herself in light. She becomes the bridge. She learns to stand at the center, witnessing both extremes without being swallowed by either. This is not balance as stillness, but balance as dynamic flow. The middle path is not halfway between extremes, but a higher dimension that encompasses both. So if you've ever felt torn between two forces within, between doubt and knowing chaos and order, you are not broken. You are simply learning how to contain paradox. And in doing so, you begin to reclaim your wholeness. With the foundation of perception and polarity laid, we step into the third stage. Understanding the laws that govern the invisible machinery of existence. These are not laws written in books, but embedded in the rhythms of nature, in the breath of stars, in the rise and fall of our own lives. The 16th teaching whispers, all things move in cycles. This is the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Day follows night. Joy follows sorrow. Creation follows destruction. Nothing stays fixed, and yet we fear impermanence. But rhythm is not chaos. It is harmony, wearing different masks. To resist the wave is to drown. To learn its timing is to surf. The 17th teaching reminds us of accountability. As you sow, so shall you reap. No one is exempt. The principle of cause and effect is not punishment but precision. What you think, feel, and do plants seeds in the field of your future. They may not sprout today, but they never vanish. Life is not random. Life is exact. Teachings 18 to 21 unveil the nuance behind this law. Cause and effect are not linear. A kind word today may return as unexpected support years from now. A forgotten resentment can calcify into illness. Timing matters. Intention matters. The universe is listening not just to what you do, but why you do it. Nothing is lost. Nothing is neutral. Imagine the moon waxing, waning, vanishing, then reborn. We do not cry when it disappears. We trust it will return. Your life is no different. There are seasons of blooming and seasons of stillness. One is not better than the other. What matters is how you move with the current, not how you cling to the shore. So when you feel low, remember the rhythm is not broken. It is simply turning. Your task is not to control the wave, but to ride it with grace, awareness, and trust. As we ascend into the fourth stage, the teachings shift inward. Now that you see through illusion, dance with duality, and understand the rhythms of life, a new question arises. What power lies dormant within you, waiting to be remembered? The 22nd teaching offers a radical premise. The mind can transcend the body. You are not confined to flesh and form. The body is the vessel, the mind, the navigator. And beyond mind lies something even greater, consciousness itself. When you quiet the senses, when you observe your thoughts, instead of identifying with them, you begin to access the architect behind the architecture. Then comes the 23rd teaching. Imagination is the womb of reality. The images you hold, the stories you tell yourself, the visions you allow to take root, they do not stay in your head. They ripple into form. To imagine is not to escape, it is to create. Every invention, every act of love, every healing begins as a thought clothed in emotion. You are always creating. The only question is consciously or unconsciously. The next 5 teachings from 24 to 28 are the secret gears of inner alchemy, belief, intuition, intention, love, and silence. Belief is the architect. Intuition, the compass. Intention, the fuel. Love, not the sentimental kind, but the energetic force of unity, is the glue that binds creation together. And silence. Silence is the space where all true power gestates. Pause for a moment. When was the last time you sat in silence, not to escape, but to listen? Not to get something, but to be. In that stillness, you might find that the answers you've been seeking are already seeking you. And here lies the paradox. The more you search outside, the further you drift. But when you turn inward, without grasping, the current carries you home. We now arrive at the 5th and final stage, the return. But this is not a return to where you began. It is a spiral ascent to a higher remembrance. For all the teachings have been leading to this, the reunion with your true origin. The 29th teaching delivers the core truth so many fear, yet secretly long for. There is no separation between you and the divine, only forgetting. We are not fragments. We are not cast out. We are not broken souls trying to be fixed. We are whole beings trying to remember. The journey is not upward nor outward, but inward into the very spark of the cosmos that breathes within you. Within you are both. To awaken your power is not to amplify one, but to harmonize both, so that creation may flow through you effortlessly. The final 5 teachings, 31 to 35, are less like instructions and more like states of being. Compassion, not as niceness, but as radical presence. Wisdom, not as accumulation, but as discernment. Self-knowledge, the mirror that reveals the divine. Service not as sacrifice, but as sacred exchange. And finally, silence again, not absence, but the ground of all knowing. You shall not attain the divine if you speak too much of it. So says the Corpus Hermeticum. For the last veil is crossed not with explanation, but with stillness. Not with certainty, but with surrender. And so we come full circle. These 35 teachings are not merely concepts to remember. They are invitations to live more deeply, to love more wisely, and to walk the world as a bridge between the temporal and the eternal. Comment below. Which of these teachings stirred something within you? Because sometimes the questions we carry are not flaws to fix, but doorways to something ancient waiting to awaken.